Lovies, it's Charisse and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you guys an unboxing of a few new Orans I am adding to my collection, as well as my entire Oran collection. I will also go over some major questions that I either hear in the boutique or that friends and just others have asked me when they see me wearing these shoes, as far as like sizing, how comfortable are they, is there a break-in period, how do you get the seasonal colors, and the different sorts of leathers. So without further ado, let's get started. The first pair of shoes that I'm unboxing are these ones. They are the Violet Amethyst in Epsom leather. And these are stunning. These are like my favorite color of shoe. And they're my favorite color in general. Like if you were to ever do a what's in my bag video with me, you will see like most accessories I have are in some form of color like this, some sort of shade. So this was a no-brainer. I did have to go the pre-loved route with that. So I will get into that a little later in this review of how I acquire some of these seasonal colors. But this was the first pair. And then the second pair was these, and this is in the color Vert Jade. It looks like a chocolate chip mint color, and they are in Epsom leather as well. I love that these ones have like a nice like different color border. It's like a pale color compared to these ones, how they are all the same color. So just a little contrast I think is really cool. I love these like candy colors, if you will. So there is that. And then I did also purchase a pair of these a while ago. You guys have seen it if you watched my last video. These are in the rose pale. They are also in Epsom leather. So like the last three pairs have been in Epsom. They are a stiffer leather. So they will definitely be more durable, and they will be a little bit, I won't say more difficult, but it'll take more breaking in for these to mold to your feet. And then these bad boys. You guys have also seen these in my last video as well. These are the only shoes that I have that are Orans in a goat skin, and I love these. These are in the color Beige Mastic. I really love this like putty gray color that they come in. These are your softest leather, so you won't need as much time to break in on these ones, but I just love how they look. And then the originals. These are the OGs out of my closet. They are so beat up, you guys. I used to wear them every single day. These are the softbox leather with like a crew, I think. Don't quote me if that name, but the stitching, it's beautiful. And these are from 2019. I purchased these on the store in Rodeo Drive, and they were my first ever pair of Orans. I have all my Orans in a size 40, so for reference, these ones are from 2019. These are from obviously 2023's collection. So I will show you that they are exactly the same width and length of shoes. So if you know your size in one, you'll know it from the other, even with the leathers being different. So that's why all of mine are in a 40. I will say the break-in period is definitely different. These ones took like 2 or 3 days, or 2 or 3 wears, if you will, to break in. The little H part right here on the inside of the foot gave me blisters for the first couple days, but after that they molded to my feet. They were the most comfortable, and this is like once again in that soft box leather, so it's a little stiffer than the goat skin, but not as stiff as the Epsom. So these will hold up really well. And I wore these everywhere, you guys. It's kind of embarrassing. I wore them to the grocery store, I wore them to the mall shopping, I wore them in the office for work when I used to work in an office. I wore them on the airplane when I would fly to Seattle, or really anywhere, it didn't matter. These shoes I really, really love. So sizing, right? I just showed you guys how the sizing between like a 40 from 2019 and a 40 from 2023 are the exact same size. So hopefully that helps if you already own a pair. But let's say you don't. What size do you get? Well, I'm a true 9 in US. I will wear an 8.5 in Vans or an 8.5 in Adidas, but everything else is a 9. What I will say is when I buy like Fendi or Chanel shoes, I'm a 39.5 to a 40. The 39.5 fits really well for me because my feet are slightly flat, which makes them a little bit wider. But my feet naturally aren't like super wide. My arch just fell as I got older. But yeah, so for me, I like to wear a 40 because it gives me room for when your feet swell from it being hot, especially in summertime, and you know, walking around a lot in them because they are super comfortable to walk around in. So for me, I definitely stick to a 40 in anything European. They are a very narrow shoe, so if you have narrow feet, get your true to size shoe size. I will say, just for demonstration, if you were to go a half size up, like so if I wanted a 40.5 instead of this 40, it'll be a half inch long, or not a half inch, I'm sorry, a 1/4 inch longer and a 1/4 inch wider. So just know though that if you do that and then once you break those shoes in because you've worn them a lot, if they fit slightly loose, then they're going to be really loose. So I rather them be slightly snug to like comfortable, so then that way when they stretch out and mold to your feet, they're not too big and then they're sliding off your foot. So that is one thing I will say. If you can, try them on in a store, if you have a store near you, or if you're on vacation, you see a store, because that's really what helped me pick out my very first pair and going the size 40. I could have easily done the 39.5, but I'm so glad I went with the 40, just because of that flexibility in shoe size. So hopefully that helps you guys with shoe sizes and what to select. I will say, like, the Epsom, like I said, it's not going to give as much as like a goat skin, but it's not going to be so dramatic that you're going to need a whole different size. So just keep that in mind with how these are. They definitely will age so well because of that pebbled leather that they are, which I think is really cool. So the next thing is like, how do you get all these fun colors? So I will grab all the ones I just got. Oh, it's going the wrong way. Oh well. So the Rose Pale, the Violet Amethyst, and the Vert Jade are all from summer 2023. And I honestly bought these Rose Pale ones in store. They were fairly easy to get my hands on. They're like the perfect baby pink color. So love them. Yeah, I kind of walked in and tried them on and bought them. But for example, these ones, they were in stock online. I tried to buy them. By the time I put them in my cart and tried to pay for them, they were gone, and my friends told me to wait once they were restocked. I waited, and then of course I was dumb and, you know, finally found them again online from a second restock, which normally doesn't happen. So I got super lucky and I purchased these right away. I will say, if you're gonna purchase these and you're gonna stock them for colors and sizes, on Hermes.com, I noticed that especially if you're West Coast time, these time frames should work for you. If you're East Coast, just add 3 hours and so on and so forth for your different time zones, guys. But for West Coast in the US, usually from 11 p.m. until like 3 a.m., I noticed the biggest restock in the entire website. So whether you're looking for an Oran sandal, a shippery, you know, a makeup brush, or whatever it is that is on the website, that's when I see all that stuff pop up. So if you have nothing to do, or you're just up at that time, or you want to set an alarm that time, go ahead, bookmark the Hermes website on your phone or whatever device you're using to shop on, and just periodically check them throughout the day. I check the Hermes website like people check Instagram. It's so bad, but that's the best way for me to get colors. And the reason being is this one, I did mention I had to purchase these off the pre-loved market because these went so fast, you guys. They didn't even restock these, from my knowledge, at least from with me like creeping their site. And the reason I did go pre-loved on this route was because, for one, I'm good at telling if things are authentic or not, so I felt confident in purchasing them. And two, when I went and called Hermes, they told me that these would not be restocked because they were sold out company-wide, and they were from you know, spring summer 2023 collection, which that collection's already over because after a certain cutoff point in July, they said they go into fall winter collection to roll out. So for me, I knew they weren't coming back. So I'm glad I checked with Hermes because that solidified that if I really wanted them, I would have to pay a premium and buy them online through a pre-loved source. I personally don't recommend that, not even for authenticity purposes, but just because you're going to pay so much more. I've seen these go anywhere from a couple $100s more to like thousands of dollars more. So I think it really just depends on how much you really want them. Because these are my all-time favorite color ever, I did it. I would never do it again for another color, to be honest with you guys. I just wouldn't. It's just silly to me to pay that much. And I know Hermes frowns upon resellers, so I don't really want to add to that, but this was the one exception. And I'm so glad because if you guys follow on Instagram, Christina Made Me Do It, she posted these that she got from her essay, and I was so incredibly jealous, but I was so excited for her. So obviously, like, I had to do it too because she made me do it. But honestly though, they are my favorite shoe. I will probably wear these, I don't know, until they fall apart and the wheels fall off. But with how well they're made, because they're all leather through and through, even obviously this part, you know, they're gonna last for a long time. So my 2019s, these guys, I will point out a few differences versus the 2023 shoes that I have. So if you guys can see, this little line here is actually where two different leathers meet. So this is your toe box, and then this is like from here all the way back is your sole. So they're different leathers, and this little line, personally for me, it didn't give me any trouble, but for other people, it did cause blistering. But on all the 2023 models, they have fixed that. So there is no line now. It's all one piece of leather, which I think is gonna be so much more comfortable for people. So keep that in mind too, especially if you are buying pre-loved or someone will say like, hey, these are an older model, but I never wore them. They may have this little line. And on the classics that are like the black, the gold, which is a tan color, or the white, they will have this, and then it'll match the color of the sandal. So this part will be black or gold or white, but then this part would be like some like beigey gray color. They recently stopped doing that. So now if you buy the classic black, the whole thing is one piece and it's black. So you'll be okay there. But just know that too, like if you were to purchase from pre-loved, that those are probably not fake. They could still be, but you know what I mean? They are updating this footbed. So just know that. And the other thing that people never told me when purchasing these shoes, and this is a random side note, you guys, these little screws, they're on every pair of shoes. I'll show you it, like, see, they're made that way. They're so annoying because they beep when you go through the airport for TSA. So even though I'm pre-check, I always beep when I wear these. So I take them off and let them go through the X-ray thing, the conveyor belt, and then I'm okay. So just don't be alarmed if you're wearing them and you're like, why am I beeping? I'm not wearing anything metal. It's the shoes. It's those two screws at the bottom. And then let's see, pricing of these. Pricing has gone up insanely. Even though these are limited edition or like seasonal colors, if you will, these ones, because there's no crazy design, they're always gonna be the same price as the classics, which when I started looking at them in 2018 and 2019, classics were, I think, like $5.99 to $6.30. They did an increase, and then they went to $6.60. And then end of May, early June of 2023 this year, they went to $700. So are these shoes worth it at $700? Yeah. Do I think these shoes could go to like $1,000 by just say like 2025? Yeah. Would I buy them at $1,000? No. So I would say buy them now while the price is still under $1,000 and get all the colors as far as like the classics and whatever fun colors you want now, because once these colors are gone, they don't re-release these colors like this. But also the classics, like I would hate for you to pay $1,000 for a pair of classics. Now, I'm not saying they will go to that price guaranteed. I'm just saying with my experience and how I'm seeing that luxury market go, I would not be surprised if Hermes started charging $1,000 for sandals. But do I think they're worth it overall as an investment piece, as far as not to resell, but for your closet? Like, will the quality hold up? Will they be very versatile for things? Absolutely. They're super comfortable once broken in. I will say that the quality piece of them, they're amazing. I never really have any issues with my Orans. So yeah, and then you can wear these like I said, I wore them everywhere. My original black ones that I got in 2019, I wore them to the mall, I wore them to the park, I wore them to the grocery store, I wore them on the airplane. Like I said, I wore them everywhere. So if you're someone like me who will wear these shoes all the time, especially if you live in a climate where it's fairly warm, it doesn't really rain, you'll get a ton of use out of this. I have gotten caught in the black pair in the rain before in Seattle, and they did not ruin the shoe. So that was also a bonus, because I can't say the same thing about other designer brands where I've gotten caught in the rain in a pair of shoes and they were absolutely trashed after that tiny bit of rain. So that's another thing. When you purchase these shoes online, let's say you get super lucky and you want to buy them, you see them, great. Or let's say you already bought them and like the sizing is off. So a couple of pro tips. You can return and exchange if you bought them online and get your money back to your credit card, bank account, however you paid for it. If you purchase it from a store, you only get store credit or to do an exchange. There is no money back to your credit card or cash, or however you paid for it originally. It won't go that way, it'll only be store credit. If you see a pair of shoes, even if they're in store, you can ask a sales associate to order them online and mail them to you. That way you're able to still get your money back and you have that 30 days. If you purchase from the store and you take it home from the store, you still have 30 days. So that 30 days never changes. It's exchange or store credit only. And the other part about ordering online, and it could be a plus or a negative depending on your situation. For me, it doesn't really matter because I work from home, but you have to be home to sign for the packages because they are signature required via FedEx. So if you're someone who won't have someone home to sign for your package, that's going to be really tough for you to get your Hermes purchases. If you're, working outside the home and you're just not there when it arrives. So keep that in mind. You will need to sign for them or have someone sign for them for you. So that's the other piece of advice I would say. If you're shipping it and ordering online, make sure that you stock that tracking number so their shipping is actually really fast. All of their shipping, their ground shipping is complimentary. If you do like second day air or anything like that, it is obviously much quicker, but it'll cost you more money. So just keep that in mind, depending on how urgently you need it. When I ordered these shoes, I did it via ground, and it says it'll take 7 to 10 days for delivery, but I honestly got these in maybe 3 or 4, to be honest with you guys, and they came out of New Jersey and I live on the West Coast, so obviously that's still really, really fast. So yeah, that is another piece of advice I would say. Just keep all those things in mind when you do purchase. But if you ever have to do a return from the website, which I have done once before, they weren't for a pair of Orans, but they were a different shoe. It just didn't fit me the right way. It was super easy. I just got a label that was, I think it was prepaid. I don't even think I paid for the shipping. And then mailed it back, and they put the credit on my credit card within a day or two. And so that was obviously really nice. So don't be afraid to order online. Don't be afraid to exchange for a different size. But I would say just really try to be mindful of the sizing. Don't go a whole size up, you guys. I promise you they will give and stretch a little bit. So you won't need that. Unless it's true that your foot is just hanging so far off, I would go up half a size. But yeah, just be mindful, because sometimes too, if they sell out and they don't have that next size up for you, then you lose out on the shoe. So just be really careful with that too. As far as how all of that fun stuff goes. If you guys have any other questions though, please leave it in the comment box below. If you have any, other fun stuff to just ask or say. Once again, comments. I love engaging with you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Please like, subscribe, and share if you like this kind of content. And I will be back with another video. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.